Hello and welcome to an extra special episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host, Gaz, and joining me in the studio, well, for over the 200th occasion, is also a man who can lick his own elbow, and he knows exactly how many chickens it's required to kill an elephant. He's
2,000.
Mr. Taylor!
Yeah!
Yay! And welcome to the 200th episode spectacular! Woo! And to celebrate, we've put together a compendium of topics for tonight's show.
Oh, that's a big word.
So, whether you're a new visitor or a repeat offender, thank you for joining us because we got a fantastic show lined up.
We have indeed it.
On this week's episode, we've got topics galore from cryptids such as the Owl Man. Have you ever heard of the Owl Man?
Yes, I have actually.
Well, we've got the Owl Man.
Yeah.
We've got the Yowie from Australia,
Yowie.
which is another cryptid.
Ooh.
Paranormal activity coming out of North Wales. As well as space, UFO tales, and much more besides.
Yeah,
Not only that, we're going to be looking back over some of our favourite episodes over the last 200.
Yeah,
and it's nice
it's a
to
lot
get out and, show our faces every now and again. So if you are listening to the podcast, this episode is available on YouTube.
It is indeed.
So you can get over there and see the video version of this show. It's been an excellent 200 episodes, and I know we have put actually out way more than 200.
Yeah,
I think
way
in
more.
terms of downloadable content, actual individual pieces, we've put out more like 276.
Yeah,
I think it is 276
Yeah, we're nearly at the 300.
with this one, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we are actually on the 200th episode, which means main topic, main episode, the never a straight answer experience. Yeah, basically everything else besides
what
so that's
experience.
75 extra bits we've just done for the sake of it.
Yeah, just so you can, so we can entertain you.
Just for the entertainment. Yeah. So, anyway. It's been an interesting 200 episodes. Maybe we'll go an extra 200 more.
Oh, hopefully.
Brian, who I've got to give a big shout out to.
Yes, Brian.
Yes, Brian. Lovely to see you.
Hope you're doing fine, bud.
He's an absolute superstar and comment extraordinaire on YouTube, and he always comments on our videos every time.
He does.
He says that we're going to get up to the 500 mark, and he can't wait to tune into that.
500, yes. I hope even more.
That's some actual major confidence in us there.
Yeah.
I thank you. What can I say? Thank you. I mean, the whole kind of experience of doing the show has been. It's been a wonderful experience, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like the people we've met, and the people we've been in contact with, and people we've had on the show as guests.
Yes, we've had a lot of guests on, and we're going to have a lot more as well.
Who was your favourite guest?
I think, to be honest, it's between the two guys who we had on with the UFO video.
In plain sight. Well, do you know what? I kind of agree there because they just had such a great documentary. Yeah. And they were so knowledgeable. I think if we lived if we went to school together, we would have been friends. In that respect.
Yeah. But it was just such like a couple of guys like us who've just gone out and done it, but the way they've done it is like. Now
you see,
we put millions in it.
You see, this is what I always say, and this is my mantra. And in terms of going out and doing something, don't sit around waiting for the phone to ring or someone to knock on your door and say, "Oh, we've got an opportunity for you," because 9 times out of 10, it's probably not going to work out that way. Yeah. Be the man knocking on the door, right?
Reach out.
When we started the podcast, so many years ago
years ago, when all these were fields.
And again, somebody asked, an old man Peabody. These were pine trees.
We had to run from the farmer.
Yeah, we had to go scrumping.
Yeah,
for cars.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's Manchester,
I know,
after all.
So, when we started, and we were all there many years ago, and we used a phone just to record on the voice, on the voice recorder. Yeah. And, I mean, look at this.
Yeah. Look how far we're getting.
Anything's possible. And just be, if you want to do something, then go and do it. I mean, obviously, if,
there's always trials and tribulations that go on, but we get there in the end.
This leads me to I've got a question.
Okay.
So, if you had discovered a beautiful tropical island, and you thought, right, this is ideal. This is the perfect place for me to build a new society, put the rules in I want to put in.
Yeah.
Where would you go with it?
I would probably use the Ten Commandments plus the common law in England.
Straight in with the Ten Commandments.
Yeah, and after that, probably it'd be easier because I'm not going around like I'm fining you for standing on the other side of the road when you shouldn't have been, or you're driving in the wrong direction.
I think with the Ten Commandments, that's just kind of common sense, isn't it?
Yeah, and
don't kill anyone.
Basically, it's down to your morals.
Leave my ox alone.
As well. Yeah. Leave me animals alone.
So you'd kind of go more based like, but do you not think obviously
how society should be instead of like?
Do you not think that that was the goal with this way or this society?
Yeah, but then power creates greed and then creates problems for us.
To be honest, I can see him just turning into a dictator anyway down the line.
Oh no! No, because I think it should be done the proper way. Everyone should have the the way it should be is the more people.
I was going to say because obviously my first rule would be Free Weed Fridays, and then Free Weed Fridays it's a totally great rule, but I think we need to wait until the society is a bit more established.
Before, make sure there's enough brain sense.
It's like we'll build the town, right, and then we'll do Free Weed Fridays. There's no point doing Free Weed Friday and then trying to build a town because nothing's going to get done. Let's just put it that way. Nothing's going to get done that week.
Actually, you put the right on the button. In fact,
as an incentive.
The first new rule.
Yeah, living on my island, it's all incentive driven. If you want to work here, if you want to live here, then that's great. But you've got to do your rip. Yeah. Is that fair? Yeah. Right. Great.
And you've got and the most important rule is. Like, our governments bring in, like the internet. The internet come out, brilliant, everything, but they didn't have protection for it. So if you're bringing something out...
the internet protection racket.
Well, no.
Break thumbs. Oh, yeah, mate, you've not paid your protection money this week, mate.
They always bring something out that later on turns, there actually needed to be something else there to protect the people around.
Power to the people.
Well,
anyway, so, I get that. What would you guys do if you had a tropical island that you could turn into your new utopia? What rules would you put into place to make it a better place? What do you think we need to leave out in order to make it a better society? I want to hear this video, by the way. We are going to put this out live, so feel free to comment in the comment things. We will answer you.
We will indeed.
It's going to be, it's like technology, but, not direct technology. No. Indirect technology. Indirect, what's the word? Interactivity. Yes.
I'll go with that.
Just going back to favourite guests.
Yeah.
One of my favourite guests, I think, going on the show, there was the guy who came on and he was, telling us about like the paranormal experience he'd had and when he moved and.
Oh yeah, and then he moved. Yeah.
Well, no, not Keith. Keith Linder, who was like the guy who he had poltergeist experiences.
Yeah, he did.
He was a great guest. Yeah. I'm talking about the guy who was like, and then I moved to college and my mum, his mum passed away during that time.
Yeah.
And I came away from it going, did he murder his mum? Do you know what I mean? I've never said anything really, but I was kind of like, it was one of those things where I was like, maybe that I kind of read too much into it, but as the person interviewing him, maybe that sounded a bit like a confessional. I don't know.
Was it? Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. If you thought the same thing, I mean, was it just my overactive imagination, or was there something to that?
Well, there's all, Do you know
who I did like? Kira from DNA Today.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
Hi,
Kira.
Well, Kira's going to actually be coming back on the show at some point in the near future because we've got a lot of DNA questions for her.
Yeah, I found a lot of DNA questions,
I think you'll find going forward into 2023, we're going to have quite a bit of science. Hopefully going to have some very sciencey guests.
Yes.
And not only that, just a lot of different interesting guests. So I feel like in the coming year, I mean, we've had some great guests, but I think by the next milestone, we're going to be able to
up the ante a little
bit on that.
Yeah, I've already got a few people in mind who I'm going to contact to try and find out.
I mean, if you would like to appear on the show as a guest, all you've got to do is get in touch to the website at neverastraightanswer.co.uk. There you can go to the contact page and leave us a message. That's all you need to do. If we think that you're interested and you've got a good story, you've got something really kind of sciencey or spacey or anything like that you want to talk about, get in touch and we can make that happen. Same goes with other podcasters as well, because I mean, I know, do you know, in terms of like guest hosts?
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to introduce a few more guest hosts over the year. So if you do think like, you know, you could be a good asset or introduction to the dynamic, give us a shout.
Give us a shout.
Not trying to replace this one or anything. No. Well, anyway, it's just one of those things where I can't get over like 200 episodes like into the show.
I know we've put a lot of work into this.
Well, I was just going to go into some of the stats, like, you know.
Right, here we go.
I mean, you know what I find interesting? You know, iTunes. You know, iTunes was big in the game at the beginning when we started, and there was a lot of people like, leave us an iTunes review, leave us a comment, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But I feel like iTunes don't offer very many analytics or stats to the creators. No. And to be fair, it feels like it was absolutely ages ago when we last got an iTunes review. But that's not to say that we haven't had any.
And we've had some
I will read some out. Yeah. Let's try and find some of those. But basically, we are charting in some countries at the moment. Good. Now, this is an interesting one because we're not put an episode out for a couple of weeks. We're slipping down the thing, but at the moment we're charting in the United States, Great Britain, Australia, Sweden, Norway, India, Slovakia, Uganda
as well,
and Ukraine.
Hey, Ukrainians! Well done,
guys. So review-wise, we've not. You know, it's one of those where, like I say, it does kind of.
We've had some big hitters as well over the years.
How do you mean?
As in like number ones, number twos.
On the charts.
Yeah, we've had some really good hitters over the years.
This is the thing; it's in our category as well. So it's like it is one of those where I mean we're not number one in the world.
We're
number one in that
category. Yeah.
But I feel like that's a really massive achievement in the sense that you know what we do and how we've been progressing as podcasters.
Yeah, we're doing something right.
So yeah, exactly.
And we're only trying to do what we're trying to do, and it seems to be working. So, and it's thanks to you lot as well.
Well, we're actually as of today, we've just hit. Download figures. Get ready. You ready for the drum roll? Oh, we probably got the button on there, to be honest, actually, that does it. 90,000 downloads.
Oh, nice.
So we're just shy of 100,000. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Which is great. I feel like, again, and that's like from audiences across the world who tune in and listen to us every week or, you know, tell their friends about us. Interestingly enough, again, this is really weird because like when I see like the activity over all these podcast platforms, because you've got to think of it like this, in terms of measuring popularity of your podcast, you've got to think of it, well, we've got so many subscribers on this platform, so many subscribers on this platform. This platform, I've got 2 subscribers. Right? So as far as they're concerned, we don't do much, but like to others, we do better. So it's trying to compile all that information, and it's really difficult to get a kind of solid, kind of idea of where you are.
Them numbers that just don't work out to where we believe the numbers are.
The best thing you can do, like to help us work out whether we're going in the right direction, is drop us a message and get involved. Tell us what you think we can change, what you think we can do better, what you don't like, what you don't like, exactly. That's one of the best ways to kind of get involved and try and get that across, which I feel like we're very lucky in that respect, that we do have a few major contributors in that way who do message us and,
Yeah, we like a good message, and we do this for you as well as for us. You know what I mean?
And we're very approachable.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
So
quick email.
Yeah, so in terms of stat-wise, I mean, we put out the Spotify review thing, so I think that was saying, like, we'd hit 37 countries.
Yes.
At that point, just at Christmas. So last year we'd been downloaded in 37 countries worldwide.
Yeah.
We were quite high up in the creation figures. So in terms of what other podcasters produce content-wise, we produce like 98% more content than other people in our category. Hey, so you get, and this is
you're getting quality.
I was going to say, you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's debatable.
Yeah,
you're getting your Freeman's worth.
Yeah.
So so that's decent, but it makes me feel good.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
One thing about the podcast that has what's happened over the time that you've kind of really enjoyed or thought, yeah, that was mint. That
I've enjoyed a lot of it, and to be honest, I think the only one I didn't really enjoy was the 100th episode.
Well,
but apart from that,
I will honestly say
it was a bit of a mess
the 100th
for us.
episode was a bit of a farce, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it was all worked out, but it just didn't plan out the way
we're on
we
a
wanted.
closed set today, right, for the 200th episode, and there is a reason for that, because if we invite people and they bring delicious treats, with narcotics in them, let's say. And you weren't pre-warned. That derails us quite a bit. So there is a video. I mean, you can go and watch it, the 100th episode. I mean,
in fact, we should ask the question: should we take it down or leave it?
For potential employers, would you recommend that we take the 100th episode down, or would you think we leave it there for prosperity?
Yeah, and don't forget, it was a while ago as well.
It was a while ago, yeah. We've cleaned
Not
up.
now.
We've cleaned up and found Jesus since. So yeah. If you want to get involved and help the show, you can go over to Patreon and you can do what we've been asking. We have 3 tiers. We have agent. Which means you are
an agent.
A NASA agent. You get privy to, some classified information. I'd say.
It's worth it.
As a lonely operative, you do kind of there is kind of stuff above your pay grade, which leads us to special agent. Which means you do get a bit more. But then, if you're beyond top secret,
sky's the limit.
You are privy to a whole deal of stuff, which means you can actually get involved in the episode topics for the week.
Yes, exactly.
Free merch. Loads of perks. If you want to go over to Patreon, sign up there. It's dead easy. I'll leave a link in the description.
Your input will be more valuable.
We
got more recognised.
Well, I've had this message from a new listener.
Okay. This
is a good one, right? So this is a debate that some people are having,
There's a lot of them in a minute.
About there is a term in the English language or a phrase,
okay.
Some people mean it to mean one thing, and other people mean it to mean another thing, right?
Seems to be the century for that.
Well, this happens, doesn't it? People change, in terms of the Urban Dictionary and what's kind of put out there. I was thinking, this is a great one to send a countdown for Susie to check out. I mean, but I've done the work for her. She doesn't have to do it. Yeah, right.
So can rest.
I'm not letting Countdown have this prime gold material when we can use it ourselves.
Exactly.
Basically, there's the sketch, right? So, the glory hole.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to ask you, what do you think it means? The term glory hole.
Glory hole. All right. Plain and simple.
Plain and simple.
Cut through a hole in the toilet.
Right, so you'd say it was a hole in a toilet wall where
you can dangle your little man out.
Pop your old John Thomas in, and it'd have a
whale of a time.
Whale of a time, right. So that's the Urban Dictionary definition of a glory hole,
Yeah.
So one of our listeners was saying she was at work. And she mentioned that she's got several glory holes in her house.
So
obviously a lot. Well, that's basically what a colleague's for. And was like, wait a minute.
She's living at a swingers place.
That's what it is, isn't it? Well, you'd know about that. You've not got a membership, have you? So
not no more.
Basically, I've got loads of glory holes in my house, and what she meant it to me was like a bottom drawer, like a little sort of a cupboard for your knickknacks. Yeah, your bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Everyone's got one of these bottom drawers with like, you know, you've got
secret departments,
roller
and stuff.
tape, bit of super glue, fucking old spanner.
Yeah,
those types of, you know.
Yeah,
and I'm like that. I mean, obviously, my first instinct was to go to where your brain went because we've got filthy minds. You know,
we're only men.
What can you do?
Yeah.
But basically, I wanted to do the research because I was like, well, where does this come from? Is she right? Is she right to think that this is a bottom drawer? Yeah.
Oh, no. It's a bottom drawer at the end of it. Oh, it's a secret drawer. It's a stash drawer.
Well, this is the thing. You see, glory boxes in Australia and some other parts of the world are considered what people might in America call a hope chest.
Oh,
or a memory box.
Yeah.
And a glory box is that, and it was kind of like an early 1900s saying, or like, you know, it was brought over from the UK.
Okay.
And was used primarily in Australia quite a lot, right? But I found it goes even further back.
Oh, right, okay.
To the 1800s, 1835, it was written about as a glass blowing, a glass blowing phenomenon, right?
Yeah.
So when they put their glass rod into the hole, right, and the heat from the furnace created a halo around the glass, right? So when they started to refer to it as a glory hole, right?
Oh, right, okay.
So there you go, right? In terms of like what the
different
phrase
glory
means,
holes.
there's actually two versions of non-sexy time glory hole,
So
and
three
only one
versions.
version that's rude. Yeah. So you know you can say if you've been hanging out of a glory hole or looking around a glory hole.
Yeah, but
and it's not.
it depends on the
it's
mind
not
of the other
rude.
person, doesn't it? Really.
Totally does.
Yeah, and
but
who
I
you're
mean,
talking
obviously, she works with a lot of dirty-minded people.
Obviously.
yeah,
she,
no,
she
you
likes
are-
a glory hole.
Leslie, you are right. You are correct in this instance. Yeah, a glory hole is what you would call a bottom
Surprisingly.
drawer or a knick-knack cupboard or whatever you want. So yeah, don't feel bad that you've got a dirty mind because it's everyone else around you.
Yes.
So thanks for
I
getting
agree with that,
involved.
mate. Yeah,
Anyway, yeah.
Thanks for your glory hole.
Thanks for
Story hole.
thanks for your story hole.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
do you know, again,
But-
we always come back to
when-
holes.
yeah, but
why
when
are we
you
always
change it-
talking about holes on this show?
Hey, every hole's a goal.
Every hole is a goal, and
Wow.
Mel's hole last week was an interesting one.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that was.
Funny
Yes.
one though, right? Because
Very interesting.
Coast to Coast, one of the most bizarrest sort of radio shows ever to grace the airwaves.
Well,
It's,
probably one of the best.
you know, we have top 10, episodes in terms of like how many downloads they've had, the amount of people who've kind of latched onto that episode. Some are more popular than others, and some of them do phenomenally well.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah. The most recent, which I just blew my mind really on how many kind of people kind of downloaded it so fast, was the Mad Markham time travel episode.
Yeah, that jumped.
That jumped. So basically, out of 200 episodes, right,
Plus.
we have a top 10 of how many people download that specific episode.
Yeah.
That is our 5th most downloaded episode. And we only put it
yeah.
out, I think it was like, 197? Episode 196 or 197.
Yeah,
and
so
and it's
about
been
6 weeks ago,
phenomenal.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If only all of the episodes could do so well. But, again, right, I feel like as well, when we have a lot of milestone things happening and we go, we'll do a freestyle episode for that.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
That's not something that people are going to come back to and listen to over and over again. Whereas if it's a topic that's interesting,
true. You need a certain topic
now on
especially at certain
YouTube,
times.
you see again, what's popular on YouTube isn't necessarily what's popular on the podcast, right?
That's true.
So we can
That
put
is
the same episode on YouTube and get a totally different result in analytics, right?
We have done.
Boring you with all
Yeah.
my technical jargon today. The Mama Seti episode,
Yeah.
people love that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I am
they do,
definitely
yeah.
I'm gonna let you all into a secret. Yeah. Right.
Should ya?
Should I?
Should
right?
ya?
Because the Mama Seti episode, the amount of people who have reached out and said, you know, that's not Mama Seti on your graphic, and I've said, I know. I'm glad that you've seen the deliberate mistake.
Yes.
Yeah. No, we know it's not, Mama Sarah. Yeah, it's...
It was done on purpose to see if the reaction would be.
I like playing pranks, and it's not even a prank, it's a sort of psychological experiment. But we did actually mention, it's Thingy, isn't it? What's her name? I forgot her name already. From Anne Frank.
Anne Frank. Oh,
yeah,
right.
The picture
okay.
is Anne Frank, but we mention her in the episode. But that's why we used the image. So there's a little.
There's a little trickery there to see if you were still awake.
It was a purpose mistake. Yeah. It wasn't even a mistake. It was a purposely done thing.
Yeah, a deliberate act.
And then I wanted to see how long it took, and it was like 8 months before somebody actually mentioned it, and I was like, "Well, thank you for getting in touch."
Yeah.
You know, and I'm glad someone's finally seen that and worked it out.
Yeah, it was a good idea.
Talking about psychological experiments, subliminal messaging,
fucking everywhere.
Now we tried it on the show.
Yes,
didn't
we did. We did.
Were like, we did it actually embed like a subliminal message.
Yeah.
As well as backward
reaction.
As well as backwards mask.
Yes.
Yeah. On one of the episodes, which is to do with backward masking.
See, we're doing a lot more than you think we're doing here.
Yeah, you see, this is it. I get called a dodgy bastard all the time. I wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, the subliminal messaging episode definitely didn't work.
No.
Yeah, because the way through it was saying, buy merch.
Yeah.
Buy merch. And do you know how many T-shirts we sold that week? Not one.
I think we might have to do it in another kind of tone to vibrate it into their brains. Yeah, all right then. Yeah.
That'd be funny.
Straight away. But we might try some more.
We might maybe. I don't want. I'm not.
We don't
want to
fuck with your
manipulate
heads.
you.
Yeah, we're not doing anything like that.
We're not CIA. Let's put it that way.
And it gets you involved in what we do as well.
If you like it or not.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it gives we may do something and then later on down the line we go, did you notice that? Yeah, like we've done. And hopefully you would. But,
I don't think anybody really noticed that.
Well, no, surprised. I'm surprised though with the amount of blimmingle messages and sounds and that go round now. Even shops and everyday.
Well, we've got one that we'll be talking about a bit later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is the Prime phenomenon that's going on around. And I don't know if that's subliminal. It's got to be because for the amount of money people are paying for this stuff. We'll be talking about it later in the news.
Ridiculous.
But for this week's episode, we felt like, we cover a lot of topics on the show. We cover a lot of different subcategories of topics on the show.
Yeah.
From, UFOs, we do, CIA, we do cryptids, we do paranormal, mystery
deaths,
ghosts, deaths. We do all sorts, right? So we thought we'd try and break it down into, say, 4.
And a lot of holes.
And a lot of holes.
Yeah, very much, yeah.
We've got
that covered.
I don't think there's any whole stories that we can do any more. I'm sure we'll find
I can think of you.
But, so we thought we'd try and break it down into, a couple of different stories tonight. So we try and, make it a bit more varied.
Yeah. Put a little bit in of a few different episodes we've done, kind of things.
One thing when we was trying to work out what I was talking about and all that, and somebody said, "What is a cryptid?" Somebody who I know said that, and I said, well, it's kind of one of those sort of mythical animals or whatever. But I found a description of what cryptozoology.
Right, here we go.
And it's basically a study of unknown or legendary or even extinct animals. So it could be anything from Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, the Yeti, El Chupacabra. Just a couple of the ones we've done on the show.
Yeah, and even thinking about it, 99% of the animals have been destroyed on this planet anyway. So there's bound to be certain aspects.
It's like Mothman, though. I mean, it's these certain animals that are so kind of crazy and amazing that are they legit? Are they real? How is just 1 or 2 of them remained on the planet?
Yeah.
And it is kind of hard to believe, but kind of nice to believe that, there is a Bigfoot walking around and he's got a little baby Bigfoot and a wife Bigfoot. That'd be quite cool to think that, this population's hanging on and surviving.
And there is evidence of people seeing these kind of things, and plus there's a lot of evidence now of people missing in them kind of areas as well.
I think obviously since it went a bit more mainstream with the cryptids, you know, like Bigfoot, In Search of Sasquatch, you know, all these TV shows about Loch Ness, and the interest of cryptozoology's gone up so much.
Yes.
You know, the belief of it, is that kind of one of those things that kind of keeps it alive, if you like, rather than actually any proof? Because, I mean, although we've got pictures, it's the same as a UFO sort of thing. They're all grainy, out of focus, from a distance. And we know we've seen something, but we just don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah, one photo, and then it's down to the people who are actually seeing it, their experience. And, you know, there could also be other activities going on as well as what they've just seen, a mystery, you know what I mean?
Well, scholars have noted that, you know, that has been kind of, that a lot of that has been rejected, you know, because of, it's just more mainstream. It's a mainstream approach to the idea, rather than actually going out to try and find evidence.
Yeah, right. I mean? Rather avoid it, and this, I can't be bothered with this, even though in a way it is important. You know what I mean? It is important to us.
Well, in Australia, I mean, they've got a kind of a Bigfoot of their own. It's called a Yowie, right? And it's got several names, and it's in Australian folklore, and it's basically has a reputation for living out in the outback. It's a creature that has roots in, the history of the outback and the Aborigine people who live there.
Well, not a lot of people live they live on the outer side. They don't live in the middle, so a lot of this will be missed.
So it's also known as a Jugabine or Bina, which in some parts of New South Wales, and has been called a Galdering or a Juwawa. Also, the Yowies, they say it's a type of creature not so much different to the Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But its description is usually a hairy, ape-like creature that stands upright between 2.1 meters, which is about 6'11", to about 12 feet. Right.
Fucking giant.
The Yowie's feet are described as much larger than humans, but allegedly a Yowie's tracks has more toes.
All right.
So they've got more digits on the feet than a normal human being. So that's an extra thing, to kind of rule out any other creature or a big dude. So you've got Andre the Giant running around the back of the outback.
An animal like in America, you can actually dismiss it as a brown bear that actually steps on top of the other one. And you could have the animal could have had a growth on the side.
It's just kind of so you
know
could have
an
extra growth, or potentially it could have walked over its own tracks.
Yeah, it's only a possibility, that
you never know though. I mean,
throwing that in.
Potentially it could be that, or it could be the fact that it's got an extra toe.
Maybe. Well, there's plenty of evidence around the world that there's some other kind of animal at this description in every continent around the world.
Their noses are described as wide and flat, and they basically say that they're very timid and shy. Otherwise,
vicious.
Otherwise, they've been kind of accounts where they've been documented as violent and aggressive.
Yeah.
Yowie.
Yeah, but that again, you could
Yowie
think that
as well. If you want to look them up, it's spelt the same as Bowie, but with a Y.
But you could think as that like a brown bear to a black bear. A brown bear is more vicious than a black bear. You know what I mean? It depends on how the area that they've been brought up, realistically.
Okay. Well, this is the name Yowie actually comes from Australia. It's unclear to the actual origins of it, but they reckon the term was first used in 1875.
1875.
1875.
And we drop the prisoners off.
So, I mean, in terms of these sort of kind of these cryptids or these sort of animals, do you think that there is credence for them to be out there? I mean, the world's a big place, isn't it?
We think we know what's on our land. We have no idea what's in our sea. But we're trying to get in there now, but we still don't know what's in a lot of the lands.
Well, this guy here in 2010 said that he saw an animal described as a like a juvenile covered in hair. He said his arms were long and almost touched the ground, and it was in his garage.
He was in his garage?
Yeah, he said it could have been a yowie.
Borrowing the screwdriver? Next
like
door
that.
neighbour, mate.
Oh, mate, you've not got an hammer, have you?
Yeah. Come for some sugar?
Yeah, in 1977, there was reported that a resident in Oxley near what is it, Tari, had heard screaming noises made by an animal at night, and that a cryptozoologist, Rex Gilroy, would soon arrive to search for a mythical yowie. So he went out actually looking on the back of that evidence.
Yeah.
There's plenty of reports. In 1994, Tim the Yowie Man claimed to have seen a yowie.
Yowie Man?
in the, what's that? The Bridambella Ranges.
Oh, big forest area.
And then in 1996, while driving on holiday, a couple from Newcastle, Australia, claimed to have seen a yowie just off the coast there. They said I saw a shaggy creature walking upright, standing at a height of about 6 foot, and it was had long arms and no neck.
Oh,
yowie.
Yeah, there's definitely something there.
Have you ever seen a yowie? I want to know. I want to know.
I'm on a hunt for a bobcat at the minute round my way.
What? Yeah, beasts of Bodmin.
Yeah.
Bobcats. These big cats.
There's big cats everywhere.
We talked about the big cats.
Yeah, but...
another cryptid, though, just while we're on the topic, which I found interesting, and I kind of felt like it was kind of like the Mothman. The Owl Man. Yeah. So this is a Cornish folklore about the Owl Man, right? Sometimes referred to as the Cornish Owl Man, or the Owl Man of Malnan. Is it an owl?
It's
sorry.
a message.
Is it an owl? Is it a squirrel? Is it a message?
Not a Superman.
Man just texted me. He said, I'm definitely an owl.
Yeah.
Right, so.
Definitely an owl.
The story originated when Tony Shields claimed to have investigated a report of 2 young girls on holiday in Malnan, who saw a large winged creature hovering above the tower at St. Maunan's and St. Stephen's Church on the 17th of April 1976. According to most versions of the story, the girls identified as June and Vicky Melning were frightened by the sight of a large feathered birdman over the church. So according to Shields, one of the girls provided him with a drawing of the creature, and it was dubbed the Owl Man. It's Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Isn't he the Birdman? He's the Batman. He's all the creatures.
You know, he wants to be a superhero. Everyone does.
You want to be a superhero. I think if Disney could make superheroes, they probably would.
Yeah.
And they'd be in all the films.
Carling would be better though.
I mean, they did like, you know, the Disney Club and all those kids, you know, when they made them stars. So if in the same way as the Boys, like, you know, TV show.
Yeah, but then...
If, like Vought, I think if Disney could do it, they would. I think they would.
Yeah. They're probably planning on doing that. I mean... They just like to go further than they need to.
Going back to owls. Now, haven't we discussed how owls could be aliens anyway? We did say this, didn't we? Because there's a group of people who actually believe owls are alien.
Because they can head all the way around.
Do all that shit, and then they turn their heads around and they walk upright. And when they walk, like, there's some videos where, like, some guy's gone to his loft and he's put a camera up in the loft, and then he's just seen these creatures walking around.
Yes.
And they look weird as anything. Yeah. And they're owls. They're owls. Could this have just been a really big owl?
Well, no, because you're only going to get to a certain. Nah. It's going to have to be something else. I can't say it.
Have you seen the Owl Man? Yeah. We want to know.
Yeah.
Is this a myth?
Or any other?
Is this a legend that you know about? Do you live in Cornwall, and have you had experience with the Owl Man yourself? We want to know about it. Get in touch.
Are you an investigator of them? There you go. Anyone who's going out and looking
if you are an Owl Man investigator, we want to get you on the show. Come on the show, and we will investigate together.
Yeah.
I'll hold your hand. We'll investigate the Owl Man.
Yeah, we'll have a look into it.
We'll fly off into the night.
Yeah. Well, the female's gone twit, and the the males going, ooh.
Right, well, that's something for the future. We can look into that.
Yes.
What have you been investigating this week? Because you've been investigating some space and UFO stuff, haven't you?
Yes. There's a film that come out last year, the end of last year, a documentary film called Tears in the Sky. Mm-hmm. It is.
I have not seen it. I'm not gonna lie.
It is definitely worth watching because it's the next step for ufologists to actually try and put more science into actually looking for the object and finding out if it is, what is it. So basically what they do is they put 3 teams out, and they've got loads of gadgets that they made and stuff. You remember the 3 videos that come out for 2015 from the Pentagon?
Yeah.
Well, the actual guys who were involved on the ships and in the planes at the time actually have got a team called UAPX, and they go out and investigate. And actually, there's one of the team members who makes these devices to actually capture within like sound, visual, and it's got loads of technical. In fact, they actually first time ever they look like they filmed a portal.
Ooh.
By the looks of things, yes, because something did actually come out of it.
Interestingly enough, we were talking about how when CERN switched on the Hadron Collider recently,
yes,
that they actually created a hole in the atmosphere, it wasn't a hole in the atmosphere, it was a hole like in the magnetic field around the planet. I'm thinking, as the we're all these kind of, again, getting back on the holes.
It's not for the first time for there though either. You know what I mean? There's
holes,
been a lot of
waves.
making.
I'm not sure. Stop making holes, everyone.
Yeah. We've got enough holes in this place.
The fucking planet's just going to fall apart. It's like, more cheese grommet.
Well, we've got a hole for that, haven't we?
Talking
we could go
about
down.
that, I mean, like, more cheese grommet. Is it just me, or does Richie Sunak look like, Wallace?
Well, I think he's got the hand movements and the political way of Tony Blair. I think he thinks he's a Tony Blair, to be honest.
Maybe. So go on, back to your hole. A new hole.
Yeah, so...
more holes you could possibly throw a stick at.
These
Glory
guys,
holes, space holes.
These guys
Mel's
from UAPX team, they've got a load of... And they're serious about it, you know what I mean? And... so where they actually seen the UFOs at that time in California, there's actually they picked like 3 spots, and then obviously communicated together. One seen something. On the UFO front, you don't see really that much, but you do later on. You see a lot. You get a lot more information, but it is definitely worth a watch. And
what's that called?
It's called a tear in the sky.
A tear in the sky.
Yeah.
Is that available on Amazon or anywhere? Where can they get that?
You can get that everywhere, to be honest, because it's a film documentary, official film documentary that's been put out there.
Perfect. Well, we'll try and get the trailer up and a link to that in on the social media this week.
And you got you got a special guest like William Shatner was in there. And
I
then
love
got
Shatner, but only for
Travis
his kind
Taylor.
of spoken word poetry.
Yeah. To be
And
honest,
T.J. Hooker.
when I was watching him on it, I thought, you know what, you're being a bit of an ass. At certain points, I thought you've been a bit of an ass.
Wasn't he on that kind of? He did a show kind of similar to
Yeah, he still does it. Summit
Incredible
Mysteries
or Unsolved Mysteries or something like that.
Yeah. He does one of them, and he's
just,
all right in that.
And he's just actually been to space, William Shatner.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Guy's had a pretty illustrious career, hasn't he?
Yeah, lucky bugger.
I mean, is that your story?
Yeah.
Because we had this story, and this was sent to us by a listener, and I'm not sure if it's actually the guy who's had the experience.
Right.
But he goes on Twitter as the Celtic druid.
All right.
Yeah, and he said basically check out the ghost of Gladstone Villa. So I did.
Oh right, okay.
He says this is a genuine experience that even convinced skeptics and non-believers, so it's worth taking a look at, and it needs to be documented and shared because this is a true occurrence and happened in Wales from 1969 to 1978. Sitting back, let's get comfortable.
Let's get comfy now.
So the only written account I could find about this, because the story's appeared on other podcasts and it's appeared on YouTube channels and stuff like that, but I found a written account, and I'm assuming this is the guy Andrew Dexter, who is the Celtic Druid potentially.
Okay.
So the story goes, my family and I lived in a large property called Gladstone Villa. It was a former mining town in Wales. So yeah, he was out in the country. South Wales Valleys, so it was South Wales. I do apologise, I said north earlier. They lived there from 1969 to 1978, and they experienced a lot of different activities there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The house they lived in was pretty big. It was quite a large property.
Lucky bugger.
And there was 5 family members living there at the time when all this stuff was going on. So there was the maternal grandfather, William Higgs, also known as Billy, and a friend who was a retired miner, who was a friend of Billy's, who used to come and go. He'd be there quite often. He had a short, bald man who looked nothing like more than like listening to westerns and LPs of Johnny Cash.
Okay, a Johnny Cash fan.
There was Rita Higgs, which was his grandmother, and then obviously his mother, him, and his father, right? Yeah. So he said he was just a baby when she said the occurrences started off, and first of all there was like small tapping, but then that had increased. One night he said that his mother heard a noise like somebody jumping up and down in the attic, so they went and checked it out.
There's a mouse.
There was nothing there.
Nothing.
The paranormal experiences carried on.
It was an owl.
Things started happening in other places around the house, so in the bedroom, in the grandparents' bedroom, and this persisted. And then they started hearing like noises like somebody was walking around upstairs in the bedroom when there was nobody up there. Yeah, so one day his mother went upstairs to the bedroom and to get her husband or his father to wake him up for work so he could get ready to go on his night shift. When she got there, she was confronted by the slight of the ironing board placed on her father's torso.
Whoa.
So the ironing board's just been put there, yeah. So she thought that Bill, the grandfather, had been playing a prank.
Yeah.
She knew what he was like, and
bit of a prank star.
Thought it might have been him. Yeah, right. But then it just got kind of put down to the ghost of Gladstone Villa. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Soon enough, it went round town that the place was haunted, and obviously it started getting a reputation. But as he got older, he started to witness activity himself. So he's saying, according to him, there was he saw poltergeist activity on a kind of daily to weekly basis.
Yeah.
He saw electrical cables being pulled by unseen forces. He saw lights going on and off. When his grandmother and grandfather would play records on a Sunday evening, they'd turn the music off.
Yeah.
Apart from, the ghost took exception to the English rock band Slade. Yeah.
Okay.
So they would let them play that.
Got a bit of taste,
or anything religious. Yeah. So if there was a religious TV show on the TV or on the radio, that'd stay on. Yeah?
Everything else.
But everything else got turned off. Right. Yeah. So there was these kind of paranormal things happening. Where else? Where are we? Right. So he's seeing this stuff for himself now, and obviously the TV shows that his grandmother Rita had watched would be kind of religious shows, so she'd get away with it. But obviously they were starting to see a lot more stuff. He's getting older now, so the parents have lived in the house for quite a while, yeah, and been putting up with it.
Yeah.
But it got so bad that they had to basically move into one room, into the living room, the grandmother and the mother, because they wouldn't sleep in the bedroom anymore. They had to sleep downstairs with the light on, and that was the only way they felt like safe from
So there was
what
no
was going on.
there's no attack or anything going on in the front room. It just seems to be in the other rooms. So what there is a sort of safety barrier there.
Well, it seemed like it, that if the light was on, they'd be all right. But, like, obviously, he witnessed most of this activity for himself, and he saw the poltergeist activity. He saw electrical cables being pulled. Obviously, the band Slade got away with not having, they obviously like that type of music.
Yeah.
And the TV shows his grandmother had watched. But the local police were even involved at one point, and he remembers them popping their heads up into the attic. But they wouldn't go in, right, because they'd heard a noise up there.
Yeah.
And they all thought it was the father maybe
supposed to
playing
go
a
up.
prank.
Well, they didn't do the duty. They should have gone up there.
So even kind of family friends, so a lady called Mrs. Ivy France, she was more than of a friend of the grandmother, and she was very sceptical about her grandmother's claims that the house was haunted. She says she remembers Ivy going into the main bedroom, having a look around, and she can still remember Ivy going into the main bedroom and then saying that there was a vibration from the traffic outside. So she was trying to pull, it's,
it's something else, something normal.
Try and find logic to answer the reasons why these things were happening,
you got to try.
So she was saying that it was obviously the traffic outside that was causing it. But as soon as she changed her mind when she experienced it for herself. She then got in touch with the local press and mediums to try and work out what was going on. So even a skeptic got kind of turned around by the whole ordeal. So, a priest by the name of Graham Jones was called to Gladstone Villa and blessed the property. But after a few prayers, it went quiet for a few months, but after that there was no incident. But it did return with a vengeance.
I was going to say, I'd imagine it returning.
So
enough stories about.
Say one evening, his grandfather Bill, his mother, and him were watching TV, and my grandmother Rita was reading a book. When all of a sudden, my mother just so happened to look up to her left and saw a full, solid figure of a monk stood there.
That's the worst one you want to see.
Why? What's a monk?
Monks are like one of the terrible ones.
Well, this was standing in the doorway and did not see this were otherwise, and nobody else had seen it had occurred apart from the mother. She later described it in detail as a monk in a typical brown habit, complete with hood over the head, and she didn't see a face because it was surrounded by like a 16th century hood of a monk.
So they're the worst. I must admit, out of a lot of spirits, the monk is like, from my experience of looking at it, the monks are like one of the worst ones to have.
So he says the most frightening experience they had was when he was alone in the house and in his bedroom, and he made sure the light was on because it was very quiet, and he was lay on his bed facing the window overlooking Cardiff Road, when suddenly he felt some heavy pounding at the bottom of his bed. The bed spring started to go full whack, so it was obviously like, someone pounding on the bed.
Yeah.
He went downstairs to tell his family, but when he went back up, he saw a distinctive paw mark on the bed that looked like an animal. So, could it have been a ghost of an animal? So he's saying Bill had a black Labrador dog called Trover who died before he was born.
It could be protecting him.
Maybe.
Slightly, it could be protecting him.
Yeah, it could be. So it seems like they had plenty more incidents going on from that. His 40th birthday in 2009, for old time's sake, he went to the villa. And he told staff about the ghosts and told them what had happened there to him 30 years before. And the staff told him their own personal experiences about lights going off and on, odd sightings in room 5, which was the bridal suite. And they claimed that they heard babies crying, and none of it made any sense.
Yeah.
So it's not only that he's had experiences of his own.
but it's been passed on. It's
People
stayed
are
in the
still
in the
having
place.
experiences today. So I don't know if you ever stayed in Gladstone Villa. I'd like to know. Get in touch. I mean, that is a pretty airy one. I mean, stuff going back as far as, the 70s, even probably further back with the monk.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as you said the monk, it was like, good luck.
Well, you can still Google the property. It's there on Cardiff Road in Bargand, Wales, UK, very near to Cardiff. The place has been thoroughly investigated and well worth documenting. So if you're a paranormal investigator, check it out. It's a hotel, and obviously it's called Gladstone Villa. I don't even know if it's still called Gladstone Villa or they've changed the name.
It must be still. They must have kept it, or I would have thought they would have changed it to another name.
Maybe. What have you got? What I mean, were you looking into space as well, wasn't you? Or UFOs?
Yeah.
Space, is it?
No, I'm just going to do this slight couple of seconds on. There's been another USA report on UFOs.
Just they're doing a few of these, aren't they?
Yeah, it's just come out, and the conclusion:
no UFOs.
Conclusion: we don't know.
You
know what I mean? And the stuff that they're doing in the documentary I was talking about, It's Here in the Sky, they're doing more than supposedly the government's doing.
In plain sight, the guys over at, the guys who we were talking about earlier who did the documentary.
Exactly.
These guys, I think more independent people are doing better research than the actual people who are supposed
should be
to be
doing
the research. So
we pay for
totally
it as well.
agree.
In space, what's going on at the minute? Well, it seems like we're having a problem with our stars because we're seeing less and less stars throughout the year.
Is that not just because of ambient light and the fact that we've built up now everywhere's? It's not very many places in cities that you can see the stars.
I think in England, I think it's the middle of Wales.
So is it just a case of that we're flooding them all out and we can't see them anymore?
Yeah, we're flooding it, which stops the experience of people, especially kids, learning.
Yeah, how are the kids supposed to look up at the stars and see a shooting star and wish upon a fucking star?
Or if you get lost, go north. Right, where's the North Star? I think see that big red thing there.
It's like when we go over to your house in Glossop Way, and you can see more of the stars out there because it's a less built-up area. But I think
less pollution.
Anyone who lives in the city, there's so much light pollution that you can't really enjoy
Don't even bother
the
looking
night
up.
Sky anymore.
Surprised you can see a UFO in the fucking sky.
It's true that actually, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Isn't it?
But with that, it looks like global dimming's coming back. A new report's just come out stating that global dimming's coming back, which is a kind of that's not really good news because in 2001 after the 9/11, after they found about global dimming, they fought it and they had to have a choice: it's either global warming or global dimming had to stay.
It's funny actually because they did say that the sun. I mean, this might not be what you're on about, but the sun has actually is actually burning hotter at the moment.
It's just come out of its 11-year cycle.
It's changing or burning out or kind of getting to that point where it's going to get hotter and then hotter and hotter and hotter.
You want to see the sun at the minute? I mean,
of course, yeah. I mean, there's so
many eruptions,
mass ejections,
but we've got 11 years of that
stuff like that. So
it happens every 11 years. But yeah, it's literally just come out of the quiet period and it's going into its vicious period at the minute. But
vicious little bastards.
But we're keeping our eye out. You know what I mean?
There you go. We tried to cover a bit of different things today for the 200th, but we do have some actual NASA news and just coming into the show. So without further ado, it's the news. Boo!
It is.
I need some paper to shuffle. I'm on the news. Right, well, my first news story today. Jeremy Renner.
Oh, yeah.
Hawkeye from the Avengers.
Yeah.
First of all, man, the guy has had an unfortunate start to the year. I don't know if you've read the articles, but on New Year, he had an accident where he was run over by a snowmobile. I mean, I think what had happened was it had started rolling. He tried to get on the machine to get it on the brake on, and it's gone over his foot, his leg. There was rumours last week that he was going to lose a leg.
Yes.
They are not true. Jeremy Renner has come out on Instagram and explained that that's not the case. The Hawkeye star Jeremy Renner recently shared a recovery update about the kind of his condition amongst fears that were circulating online. So the 52-year-old actor took to Instagram to share a photo of his recovery process.
52?
Yeah.
Fucking
looks good
hell.
for his age, doesn't it?
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Where obviously the actor's legs are visible in the thingy in the photo. The idea that so obviously there was reports going out that he's lost his hearing and lost a leg. So they are unsubstantiated.
It was bollocks.
It was a load of bollocks.
It was still bollocks.
But obviously we wish him a speedy recovery.
Hey, we got to have you back in
One
Marvel.
of my favourite Avengers, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? Guy rocks a bow and arrow like a pro.
He does, yeah. And I would have thought he's going to have a series on his own at one point or another.
He has had a series on his own.
Has he?
Yeah, the Hawkeye series is brilliant. And it's very festive as well, which I liked. I actually I worked it into my Christmas schedule this year as a little. It's almost like Die Hard. I could see Jeremy Renner doing a Die Hard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he did do. Didn't he do?
He did a Minority Report, or not Minority Report. Thinking, what was it called now?
Jason Bourne.
Born Identity.
Yeah, Born Identity. Yeah, he did Legend or something.
That's right.
Yeah.
Great actor. What I remember him in is that Tag. Do you know where it was like, a group of mates, they played tag, Tiggy It or Tag as a kids, and they decide that they'll assign 1 month a year to carry on the game. Yeah. And it's a true story, but Jeremy Renner plays the guy who's never been it. Yeah, in the whole time they've played.
And they all plan together
to get him.
I think I remember.
But he's like some parkour ninja expert who can do backflips off balconies. He's just never getting caught.
You're not getting caught, yeah.
He's so good in that. I mean, if you've not seen that, it's called Tag. Check it out.
I'm going to have to watch that again.
I found this story about pest control.
Oh, yeah.
Starting to use facial recognition software to kill rats in people's homes. It's like, wait, whoa, that's not the rat we're looking for. You're innocent. Move along.
I'm going to be giving it a digital ID next.
Have you seen this rat? We're looking for this rat. And it's like, no, our facial recognition says he's been in the area causing trouble.
Yeah, that's a clean rat. Leave that one alone.
This software, which Rent-A-Kill began developing 18 months ago alongside Vodafone, will track a rodent's habits to help them work out how to kill them more efficiently.
Well,
that's nice, isn't it? But, it's like, how, mate? They can just use that technology and turn it on us.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, but what? It's one of them. Rodents are the messy, filthy animals and that. But don't forget, we're encroaching on their land as well as
life's life, mate.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like live and let live.
And what do you do if you get rid of all the rats? Who's going to eat all that shit? Who's going to, you know what I mean? It's going to hit a certain foundation.
I know what you do. You stick it in a bottle, get KSI to push it, and it'll just sell for £500 a can. Shit in a can by KSI, Logan Paul.
Today.
I don't know if anyone's seen this. Why people are going so mad about Prime energy drinks? Yeah. There's a shop in particular that's been named the biggest scam artist in the UK.
All right, okay.
Wakey Wines.
Wake up.
Wakey Wines in Wakefield. Wake up, people.
Come on, wake up.
Come closer. Go back. Where's the best shop in Wakefield? Wakey Wines. No. Well, if you want a Wakey Wine, if you want to put a fucking hole in your pocket and your bank balance, you go to Wakey Wine. Because Wakey Wine are selling Prime.
For how much?
The popular Yorkshire shop on TikTok, Wakey Wines, has been banned from the app. For apparently selling cans of energy drink up to £100 a can. Yeah.
Fools. Absolute
You can buy it in Asda for £2.50. Yeah.
Just give the £100 to us. Done.
I do, honestly.
And I'll get you a can.
So he's been shown on TikTok selling a woman 12 pack of Prime for £1,200. Yeah, KSI reacted and vented his frustration over the fact people are taking advantage of and what people are saying is supply and demand.
Yeah.
And it's one of them. It's like if a Beyonce ticket comes on sale, is it not the same thing as selling that Beyonce ticket at a fucking extortionate price because people will want it and they're in demand? It's the same thing. It's exactly. Fucking economics. Business and economics is what people are saying. But do you think the average kid, is going to have £100 to spend on a can of pop?
No, again, they don't know which is the importance.
They're going to the parents going, Mom, my mates have got one, I want one, I need this in my life, otherwise people will think I'm a piker and all the rest of it. And it's like, well, so the parents then feel like they need
guilty
to go and provide them a fucking can of drink.
Guilt trip, man. Kids love doing that.
I think if you're raising your kid, to want this or, cry about having this, then you need to reevaluate what they find important. You need to sit down and
have a little word with them.
Honestly, I cannot understand. I mean, I've never seen a fad this bad.
But it's one of them things, though. It was bound to come anyway, that, like, people will buy something just because of a name or just because it's happening at a certain time.
KSI and, KSI is actually saying, no, I don't, agree with this. I don't rate this. I don't think people should be spending this much money.
Well, especially when
recommended retail price is so much. Well, what he needs to do then is take ownership of the distribution. So if you're putting out a product and you think there's going to be mad rush for it, then you put it online at how much you want to sell it for on your own shop. On your own online shop, you handle the distribution.
You're still going to get people
that people aren't selling it for a stupid amount of money.
Oh yeah, and that, like, someone will come along and go, right, I'll buy 10 cans of them. Right, eBay. I want £200 per
totally. Bottle. I mean, if you go on eBay, there's people selling them upwards of
£1,200. I seen one. Yeah,
so I mean,
stupid.
Have you been sucking into it? Let us know. I mean,
are you a mug?
How much did you pay for your can of Prime, your bottle of Prime? What does it taste like? I have not got really an interest in finding out.
I've seen it, but
we'll start out. Our drink will be out at the end of the year. It's going to be called
Water
over Prime, Overtime Prime.
Corporation Pop. We're going to call it.
Pop.
Yeah, that's water to you and me. We're going to get it right out of the tap, and it's going to cost you £500 a bottle. And the bowl's going to be that big.
Business model, there you go.
There you go.
Any news you want to talk about?
I found this last night. It just hit me lap. Ghislaine Maxwell is about to open a big fat gob. But to a weird man himself.
Go on.
Which Jeremy Kyle.
I thought you was going to say interview. Jeremy Clarkson then or something.
No, he couldn't keep his mouth shut. He would have already said. But apparently, she's going to talk about Prince Andrew and the Queen and Epstein, and let's see what she brings out, and that'll be out on Monday, the 23rd tomorrow? Monday the 23rd.
Yep, Monday the 23rd.
On, I believe it's Talk TV. But I'm sure if you ask for it on Google, bang, it'll come straight up. It'll be one of the first feeds.
It'll be all
I'm
good.
Definitely watching it without a shadow of a doubt. I'm keep my immediate eye on that little bitch.
There you go. Well, have you heard about this Dyson? Do you know the Hoover makers?
Yeah.
Well, they've invented a new product.
What, Skyrocket?
No, it's the Dyson Zone headphones. Right?
Oh,
and it has the headphones that include a personal air purifying system.
What, did they clear your ears out when you put them in?
They look like you've got some crazy sort of like air respiratory system on your face, as well as having headphones on.
Oh,
which they're quite interesting. But the Dyson Zone headphones boast noise-cancelling technology, and as well as great smelling air. As well,
what
do you know what I mean?
Fuck
Have
is
you
that?
seen it? That's the picture. Walking around looking like, do you know, all I can describe it as is, do you know when Darth Vader takes his helmet off and he's got that thing, that respirator?
Yeah, that respirator there.
He's one of them attached to a pair of Beats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I was actually thinking about this the other day about noise-cancelling headphones. That what was it? I was doing something and it was like, you know what I could do with a pair of them in a minute, and they would work perfectly.
Fair enough.
But I don't believe there was any made for that particular.
They weren't noise cancelling enough.
No.
I've got a story here about a mum who reckons she found Jesus in her Domino's pizza box grease.
In the grease, it greased it.
I wish people would stop bloody texting me. They know I'm busy.
Yeah,
Do you know
well,
what I mean?
unless it's used.
If it's you, we don't mind.
Yeah, we don't mind. That. Yeah.
But yeah, she found it in a pizza box. I don't think it looks all that Jesus-y. Do you reckon?
Looks like a pizza to me.
Looks like a pizza box. Anything? I mean, Jesus in a camper van. Jesus on a bicycle.
Everywhere.
Jesus on a piece of toast.
Yeah.
Jesus on a quaver.
Well, they should be. Why are they?
I mean, I remember the toast, right? And there was a market for that, and it sold on eBay. Yeah, right. What do you think the price tag of that Jesus pizza box is going to be? Do you think people are going to be bothered to buy it? Do you think the fad of seeing Jesus in things, it's pareidolia, it's not?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not Jesus. Get over it.
It's no man.
Don't make me come and tell you again.
It's just funny how like Christians jump to stuff like that, and it's like, hold on, but God's supposed to be around everywhere, and Jesus supposed to be around.
And that's the point.
You know what I mean?
You see, if Jesus is around everywhere, then wouldn't he be in a Domino's pizza box?
Exactly. So why are you surprised?
That's exactly where I'd expect to see him.
Yeah.
I've got a story over here from a Manchester man. Who ate 124 kebabs in a month.
Oh, his guts must have been. Oh,
I can tell you, he said it hurt him physically and psychologically.
I bet.
I can imagine. I mean, I'll tasty kebab every now and again, but junk food loving dad has eaten 124 kebabs in the space of just 1 month in an epic kebabathon.
Was he on a challenge?
A kebabathon,
right.
consuming a staggering 250,000 calories.
Fucking hell.
That is a lot of calories.
That's a nasty shit in the morning.
Des Breakley, 36 from Manchester, gets in, son.
Get in, son.
Says
is that who's been blocking our pipes up then?
He's probably used texting us. Do you know what? Yeah, I'd say whoever he's been buying his kebab shop, his local kebab shop have probably loved him.
Oh, yeah.
Unless he's been doing like every kebab shop in the area to try and get like a good,
Yeah, get a good feel of different kebabs around.
I want to know which one's the best kebab. Which one's your best kebab? Which one did you think was the best kebab?
Yeah. Got to put it somewhere.
So, well, basically, the engineer who polished off his final doner kebab on New Year's Eve says he feels huge sense of achievement and accomplishment after raising £1,000 for Francis House Children's Hospice.
Good.
So, I mean, it wasn't like he just did it for the crack.
And he's suffering for it now.
He had 124 kebabs for charity, and it was for Manchester Children's Hospice. Well done.
Well done. Good on you, man.
I'm going to give you a big round of applause. Well done!
Yeah. Excelente.
So, any more news you want to get into before? I've got a bit of NASA news, but we will be getting into that in a second because I am dying for a pee. Yeah,
I am too. Tesco's, the owner of Tesco's has just turned around, the CEO has just turned around and said that the food prices, now they reckon that it's actually the companies that they've been buying from who've put the prices up.
So there's not Tesco's. Tesco's, where the best goes.
Where the prices shouldn't be going high. And that's why they've been having problems.
Well, this is the problem because they turned around and said to HP or Heinz
and
said, we will not sell your products in our shop because you're Yeah, I'll pay the prices up too much.
Yeah, they put it
Don't know
up
what accent that was.
70%, I think they put it up to.
So they decided, well, we just
Not
won't sell
doing it,
you
yeah.
beans. We sell beans. We've got our own brand
Yeah,
beans. Like
yeah.
we don't have to sell Heinz beans. Although you are an institution,
Yeah, they are.
we don't need to sell you beans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I'd have Branston beans. I'd have in-store beans if it's going to kind of keep the price down. But a little pot of beans, a little tin. Do you know the little tin?
Yeah.
It's like £1.20 or something now.
80 up here.
I bought one the other day. It was £1.10 at least. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
was just
it is
for one
going
little
up.
tin. For what, it's
Yeah.
like 3 tins in a pack. It's like you're paying about $2.50.
Well, have you-
and that's like to make you buy more for less. But you know,
Have you noticed though in the big supermarkets now how they're not getting that much products in now? There's actually shelves that are being moved that open space so more people can walk. Yeah, because you haven't got the product to actually put on the shelf, and they're getting less products. And I've also noticed as well that quite a few of them are going quite American, bring a lot of American shit over. You know what I
that's
mean?
true.
Which hopefully they're gonna fucking stop, but to certain products, obviously, you know what I mean. But other products, yeah, ding dong,
Ding dong, indeed. I found this story, and you're never gonna believe it. You guys, you let me know if you believe this, but in a freak series of seemingly random events, a Switch owner,
yeah,
a pet goldfish has been implemented into an eShop account fraud.
What?
Yeah. So this is true, apparently. So hundreds of viewers have watched this little fish as it stole their owner's identity whilst he was gone. Yeah.
Oh,
So
right, okay.
the heist started as an experiment to see if the fish could complete a Pokemon Scarlet or Violet mission or whatever it was game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. They set up a webcam and focused on the fishbowl, monitoring and tracking, using monitoring software to track the fish as it swam across, and they overlaid a grid and basically controlled with. They had controlled inputs on each grid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fish was able to pause, change direction, control other inputs in the game. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the experiment done in 2020, and it successfully completed all the tests. Yeah. Finishing Pokemon Sapphire in about 3,195 hours.
Hell.
Right. But the identity theft occurred when he was away from the YouTube live stream, and the game was set up. It was going swimmingly, and the fish was winning several battles, right? Yeah, it got to about the 1,144 hour mark, and the game crashed. The game did something else without him being present to fix it, and so obviously all the inputs from the fish were a bit kind of squiffy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a very complex story, but eventually the pesky little critters got onto the Nintendo eShop, came up on the screen, and it was able to kind of import and add 500 yen's worth of stuff, which is only about $4 US.
Yeah.
But it had access to the credit card, which was saved on the Switch, and because it was programmed to do all these movements and stuff, or like the grid pattern,
That's why cash is
it
king.
started buying loads of stuff on his card.
This is why cards are no good. This is why these will be no good.
So the fish ended up purchasing new avatars, downloaded an N64 emulator, got on PayPal to set him up to confirm his email, and changed the Nintendo account to Rowaway. Yeah, right. The fish got a free trial and went on for 7 hours in total before before they finally managed to power it down. But it was fucking on it. It's doing pure stuff online, having a whale of a time.
Well, you would do, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So sorry if it was a bit complex, that story, but yeah, it ended up they ended up having to ask for a refund of about 500 yen. A hilarious story, but obviously it's true.
Well, yeah. Or they wouldn't have got the money back. Give me that fairy tale. Go on, mate.
It wasn't
Go on,
me.
get out of
It was my pet fish.
It was me dog. Did you hear this about the Prime Minister?
Which one?
The one we got now at the minute.
More cheese, Gromit.
Yeah, that's the fella. About him no seatbelt.
Oh, yeah,
yes, and he had no seatbelt. But did you see how long again?
I do feel like they just kind of like any excuse to give him shit now, they will. And
I think they should.
No, totally. I mean, like, that's what they're there for as public servants. If they're not kind of observing the law and doing the things,
and they're the creators of,
they put the laws in place and then don't follow them themselves, then that's a thing that we need to address. But totally.
My problem is how long it took again for the police to actually set the charges down and go, bang, right, there's your fine. They have fined him, he is paying it, but it took, about 2 days to do that when the evidence was straight there, straight away, and all they had to do was go, have a look at the video at work, right, charge him, there you go. Done.
That's true, that, yeah.
Yeah, it was the same with the parties at the number 10. Until someone higher up actually puts the pressure on the police to actually have a look, then they won't do it.
They're all just going to keep getting away with it, aren't they? Because, I mean, unless somebody says they're doing something wrong, then they'll carry on doing it. I mean, it's like, I think they get away with enough as it is at the moment.
Too much.
So, it's like, fucking pull them on everything you can. If you don't see them fucking jaywalking, if you see them not wearing a seatbelt, see them having a party when they shouldn't be. And exactly. Right, I think that's perfectly reasonable to give them grief about that sort of stuff.
Yeah, they should be done for it. Did you hear China, 1.4 billion people, most popular in the world, is just about to lose their status on being the most popular.
Most popular for what?
Population, as in population growth. It's turning, by the end of the year, it will be India.
I'm not surprised because, you know that China's had this zero policy of COVID. Yeah. Well, they've opened everything up now. They went, well, screw it then. If you don't want to be locked down, we'll let you out. And literally, the morgues are full. Right? At the moment, China has had a wave of COVID, unlike they've had yet. And because they've been trying to operate on a zero COVID policy, now...
As soon as you open the door, it will spread. It doesn't matter how long you wait.
Like mad. They have got no room in morgues. They've run out of urns. They've got nowhere to, keep the dead.
And they have to have
so bad over there.
Over 850 million people.
I just hope that it doesn't start spreading again. And obviously, it's one of those that we will keep an eye on. Not today though, because it's 200th episode celebration.
Celebrating.
Talking about celebration. Oh yeah, so go on. Yeah, so I do apologise. I felt like I cut your story off. So what you just
it was just
population.
basically
I'd
their
say
population
that's probably gonna affect it because, like I say, with the COVID news, they have stopped putting out death figures now because it's got so bad over there. So, but keeping on celebrations, Buzz Aldrin. And moving into NASA news now, Buzz Aldrin's got married.
Oh, has he? Oh, congratulations.
On his 93rd birthday.
Well, he's not, man.
See, it's never too late.
No, it's not. No,
it is never too late to find the one you love and move down the aisle. Get down that aisle with her on your 93rd birthday. Man's been to space. He can get married when he wants.
Second man in space.
There's been a spaceship of non-human origin spotted near Mexico, off the border. Recently. So this is Mexico's most famous UFO expert believes that a photo of a sunset over the stadium near the US-Mexican border shows a flying saucer. The snap was taken by a fan of sunsets over Jerez Soccer Stadium, is it?
Right, okay.
Jerez, don't know where that
soccer stadium.
So, the Mexican soccer stadium, basically, on the border. The team tweeted that the image was taken this week and tagged ufologist Jamie Masuin into it. The journalist tweeted back saying that the photo with enhanced with artificial intelligence, and it clearly shows a UAP.
Good.
Good. There it is. Look, you can see the UAP yourself there. I'll put it on the website, as well as Instagram. Very clear. It's actually one of the most clearest UFO images I've seen for a while. Have you got any NASA news you'd like to talk about?
Just one. If you want to have a snowball fight, you'll be able to do it on Mars by the looks of things now, because they believe
Snow is on Mars.
there's snow on Mars.
Well, I
yeah.
was like fucking only just
So
found
then there's
water a
water.
couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's like we were
exactly.
all wondering whether there was water, and now they're saying snowman.
Because they only want to tell us a little bit by bit, because they don't want us to get too excited and go,
Elsa's
let's
been
get
up
up
there,
there.
hasn't she?
Yeah.
And Elon's dancing around going, the cold never bothered me anyway.
There's soon going to be more snow up there than there is down here.
Yeah, well.
But, it's a bit warm, innit?
If you want snow, go fucking Pluto. There's loads of it.
Well, have you seen down at, Davos and stuff, or the snow's not, it's not falling. There's like a little slide, that's it. No more snow.
Where's
snow. Davos in Switzerland.
Oh, right. It's because
Yeah.
America's had it all. They've been getting like 2 inches
Hey, that's true.
an hour or something.
Been getting greedy, America, with all that snow. Give it away a bit,
Well, we've been getting the rain from
Backlash
there
off
and,
it,
and a
yeah.
bit of a freeze. But, it's been
We hadn't had it
pretty
that bad,
cold, though.
Yeah, it's cold, but we haven't had it as bad as some other countries, you know what I mean? It's been quite some... And I still don't put it down to climate change, even though...
More UFOs have been spotted over Turkey, which makes these clouds appear like aliens, apparently, on the picture.
Turkey are getting more and more into UFOs at the last couple
Some
of
great
years.
images,
Yeah,
though, but again, there's been so many, I think this sort of stuff's going on the increase, definitely.
Well, yeah, like Iran and stuff like that as well. Countries that you wouldn't really, the governments would turn around and go, or people would turn around and go, well, have you seen this? But yeah, it's more and more, and that's why, like I was talking about that documentary, because I think it is time for that next step to more scientific advances to actually turn around and say there is something right there. It's not a case of I've misseen something or misheard something. There's enough evidence to state that now you've got to do something about it.
Well, there you go. Well, I think that's pretty much the end of the show, isn't it? I mean, that's us for the 200th. We'll be back next week with another episode.
We will.
So there's always that. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. You can go to the website at neverastraightanswer.co.uk. We're available on all Instagram, Twitter, all those types of social media. So if you want to find us, you can. Buy some merch over at the website. And if you like us, subscribe, tell your friends. Make sure that
your neighbour up.
We're on your playlist for the next time.
Yeah.
And that's it. We'll be back for another episode.
We will.
I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
We'll see you next time.
We will.
Peace.
Out.